Okay, it says I'm back up. All right, so we're just testing this out a bit further, trying to see what exactly we have to do in order to be able to try to live stream on the road direct with Greyce. We are planning our annual spring ride, and this year we're adding a little bit of a special twist to it. We have a nephew who is a young father of 2 boys, his beautiful wife Hannah. Andrew's been diagnosed with a pretty rare disorder called NMOSD, and I don't have obviously notes in front of me, so it's I'll probably butcher the name, but it's neuromyelitis optical something disorder. I forget what the S stands for right now. But this spring, when we do our ride, we are going to be launching a fundraiser to try to help raise both money and awareness. This really, it is pretty crippling. It's Andrew is a veteran in the Army. He is a paramedic firefighter, father of 2 young boys, just an all-around great human being. And between flare-ups, it's not quite so bad. Although I can't speak firsthand, but during the flare-ups, it's quite debilitating and usually results in a fairly lengthy hospital stay, which is tough for Andrew and his family. And he is currently been impacted by having his vision is attacked during these flare-ups along the optical nerve, and so that has resulted in him being losing his vision in his right eye. And with each subsequent flare-up, there's always a risk that there will be more damage done to his neurological system, and so we want to try to raise awareness. My understanding is there's only about 22,000 Americans diagnosed with this annually. It's pretty rare, and Andrew's particular version of this, he is seronegative, which means when tested for this, he doesn't give off the typical markers that that's what is going on. And so it took a while to find the right diagnosis, but that has been resolved now. And so we want to raise some money when he is in the middle of a flare-up, he's unable to work, and it would be nice to do something nice for him. So we will be setting up a GoFundMe page. The GoFundMe will be active during the ride and probably for a little bit of time thereafter. We're also considering starting up a nonprofit organization, but we are naming this ride, this initial ride or inaugural ride, the Ironheart Ride. In honor cities will be day 1, and from Hookville to Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg will be our, call it our forward operating base, but we'll be doing day rides out of Gatlinburg, in and out of the Smoky Mountains. That ride will, I'm sure, Tail of the Dragon. There's just some tremendous riding there. The Cherahalla Skyway, the Blue Ridge Parkway, the Foothills Parkway. Phenomenal riding while we're there. So we're doing a little bit of a test run. I've got my Cardo set up. Should be Bluetooth to the Insta360, which is the camera system. And all of that connected through my phone, and so it's a pretty interesting setup. we have set this up in such a configuration. You should be able to, if you're on your phone watching this right now, or on a computer, you should be able to, on a phone or a mobile device, with your thumb, be able to swipe right or left. You should be able to pinch in or pinch out, and you should actually be able to control the viewing experience live with us while we're on the road. And so we're just gonna stop here for this light, but that'll be interesting. If any of you are watching, if you can confirm for me whether or not that worked, just confirm that in the comments. That would be awesome. Also, the audio, we're testing the audio setup. I don't know how great the audio will be this way, so it's a nice way. No, beautiful car. Everybody's out on bikes and beautiful vehicles today. It's just a gorgeous day right now. 72 degrees according to Greyce. Greyce is the name of the Iron Horse that I'll be riding on this Iron Heart ride, the 2024 Indian Pursuit. It was new to me. We've put several thousand miles on it since we got it. When we bought it, we found it used with 400 miles. And we now have over 7,700 miles. That's in one season of riding. So a little over 7,000 miles last summer. Between roughly May and I did get an October ride in. My wife likes to give me a little bit of a hard time. One of the very first upgrades that I always do with any motorcycle that I've had is I replace the stock horn. And she calls it with a train horn. They're not actually train horns, but I understand why she says that. If we get out where we don't have any traffic, I'll give you all, hopefully you'll be able to hear it, a little audio check of the horn. We do have a video where we replaced that horn. Just shot a couple hours of footage to do that. That was actually on this bike, that was the second upgrade that I did just because it took me a while to find exactly what I was going to put in. But we also put in a Dynamics custom bag light system that's got a modulator that ties into the main wiring harness, and so it adds extra visibility on the back of the bike, does a little bit of strobing when the brakes are applied, and then about every 3 seconds after, it does another strobe effect, which is great. Really helps with visibility, and people really do back off when you tap that, so that's nice. We'll take a little run here over towards Lake Minnetonka and see what this does. I also kind of want to test the battery life. I do think I'm going to have to likely connect a series of power cords, both for the phone and for the Insta360, but we'll see what we get. The battery on the phone was at about 83%. Battery on the Insta was fully charged, but I do think we're going to likely want to put some power into the devices. We'll be able to stream, I believe, more consistently for longer periods of time that way. And we will try to bring you all along with us on, again, this inaugural Iron Heart ride, kicking off Saturday, May 2nd, going through the 9th or 10th of May. Yeah, I hope you'll join us. Again, we'll be setting up a GoFundMe account with a link. We also have some great merchandise that we've ordered as a way to say thank you to those that decide to sponsor us. We don't have any sponsors. We would love a sponsor for this ride, but we've got some merchandise that we have on order as a way to thank people that donate to the GoFundMe link. When we get closer to the event, we'll have more details on that link. Also be able to the as loud as kind of the ambient noise. Just found that they're ineffective, and that's one of the reasons why that is typically one of the first upgrades that I go through. Again, we're just doing a test run today, just trying to see how the streaming works, how the audio quality works. I want to test the battery life on the Insta360, the battery life on my phone, neither of which are plugged in currently, but I do have a device on the way that's going to give me the option to be able to add that pretty easily. Also just wanted to get the bike started, warm it up. I did get one ride in earlier this year already. Did about 50 miles round trip, just a little run up to the northwest, excuse me, northwest metro area to the local Indian dealership there. That was a nice day. That was about 75 degrees about 2 weeks ago. We've had a couple of rounds of snow actually since then. Pretty typical for Minnesota weather. Can't decide if it wants to make its way from spring into summer or if winter will just continue to sink its teeth into us here. So we're just starting to come up on Lake Minnetonka. They'll be off to our right. Again, the way we have this set up, if you are on a mobile device, mobile phone or otherwise tablet, you should be able to scroll. We have 360 streaming set up. You should be able to scroll your way around and look off to the right, look at the lake here, the beautiful little park that we just passed. Again, I really like this setup if it works because I don't have to do anything. I don't have to worry about how the picture is framed. You all can do that. If you're watching this video from a laptop or a computer, you should be able to click and drag and change the camera angle. You should be able to zoom in, zoom out. Look at my ugly mug if that's what you want to do. Look over my shoulder, see what we've got behind us. Again, Lake Minnetonka off to the right here. It's really a series of large bays that are all strung together from a combination of natural and man-made channels. Largest lake in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. I believe Lake Minnetonka collectively represents about 10,000 acres of water. And it's a pretty popular hotspot on those warm, humid Minnesota summer days. You can see the leaves haven't bud out on the trees yet, but we're not far away from that. Folks out walking dogs and enjoying the weather. Nice to see. Clear both ways. Friendly officer, nice little wave from him. Amazon delivery driver here. So let me know your thoughts. How's the audio working? Are the controls actually working? We've been live streaming in this test run for about 16 minutes. This is the second test. The first one, I would say, was we just couldn't get it to kick in. Looked like it was all working from the phone and from the Insta, but YouTube never quite recognized it, and so I don't think it actually went live. We'll see if there's a recording of that. Not sure how much road noise, engine noise, wind noise you're getting. The mic on this is and boom are specifically meant for an air helmet like I'm wearing. Try to avoid those manhole covers in the future. Beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Minnesota. Clear? Greyce just wanted to stretch her legs there just a little bit. And then let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, audio quality. Is it better if I'm just quiet? You just pick up a little bit of engine noise and motor grabbing gears? Or do you enjoy a little chit-chat along the way? A little dirt bike there. I always give that 2 fingers down, kind of an inverted peace sign to fellow riders, and I don't really care what they ride. My understanding, the origin of that is the 2 fingers pointed down is basically a signal to ride safe. Keep both wheels firmly planted on the tarmac. Of course, we went out to Sturgis last fall for the rally. That was my first ride out there. That was a wonderful week of riding. I really enjoyed that. So many bikes out there, somewhere between 400 and 500,000 bikes. And then, probably close to maybe upwards of 1 million people in and around the Sturgis area. Of course, there's so many bikes there that when you're out riding there, you wouldn't typically give that sign. You'd probably have a pretty sore wrist by the time you're done. Again, Lake Minnetonka off to the right here. A little bit of wind coming. We're headed east, so those are southerly winds, which help to explain we're up to 76 degrees now on our way to 80. Looks like it might be a little bit of a wild week weather-wise, both here in Minnesota, but really all up and down the country. Keep your eyes on the skies and your head out of the clouds, as they say. This is just a great little stretch. We'll go out. I am going to get on the freeway. We'll test audio levels on the freeway as well and see what that's like. And then probably circle back and finish cleaning up Greyce. We've got about, hey, watch what you're doing. Going to clean her up just a little bit more. We'll probably get an oil change in before we leave. Tire tread, tire life all looks great. We should easily get at least 10,000 miles on these. Aggressive, some fairly significant. That if we've configured this correctly. Ice out on Lake Minnetonka was several, but many lakes up in the northern part of the state are still socked in with a fair amount of ice. Again, it's Sunday, April 11th. Beautiful day. It was wet and it rained early this morning. There's a little wind for us. Rained early this morning and it's fairly humid, so although the roads are dry, there was condensation even inside the garage with the garage door closed last night on the bike and some of the tools and whatnot that we keep in there. So got that all cleaned up. The seat was even a little damp, but that's dried out nicely now. I'm going to be pretty excited if this works as advertised. Obviously, I can't troubleshoot anything while I'm on the motorcycle, so if you're looking at my face and you're just seeing my lips move and you're not getting any audio, please accept my apologies. We'll learn more about audio levels, and if I need to speak up more, have noticed one thing. I'm not going to be able to listen to any music while we're doing this, which is fine. It will be it will kill the live stream, likely because it would be a copyright infringement. My understanding is the way I have everything daisy chained together, if I were playing music, you would be hearing that, and anything that is copyright protected would then likely lead to a strike as far as YouTube is concerned. There we go, some fellow riders. Nice little ride. I haven't looked that far out yet as to what the weather forecast looks like. We have done this spring ride. I have left as early as kind of that last week of March. I've got some video leading on my Indian Springfield, which was the bike I had before this, leaving, and there's quite a bit of snow left on the ground. But the nice thing was we'd had some warm, dry days, and so the roads were dry, but there was still probably a good 8 to 10 inches of snow on the grass and snowbanks and whatnot. That was kind of a fun video, but that was cold. And I rode straight south on that ride. It was about, the day I left, I believe it was about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'd had a snow like 2 days before. We were getting snow again later that day, and so I was waiting for things to warm up, but I had to leave by a certain time so I could get ahead of that storm. And so I rode straight south, and I remember stopping down a big pilot road center down by Albert Lee, Minnesota. And that was cold. I was dressed in many layers, but I was really cold, and it was really windy. And so that first day, I only made it from around Minneapolis down to Ames, Iowa. There's a boat out there on Lake Minnetonka. Excuse me, a couple of boats. Just small fishing boats. You can see by the boats wrapped on my right, there's some pretty sizable craft that get out on the water. Go through the marina area here. It is gorgeous. You can see, I bet I've got some work travel coming up this week. I'll be gone, and I bet by the time I get back, there'll be leaves out on these trees. You can see that most of them all have buds now, and they're enjoying the warmer daytime temperatures here. Ground temperatures starting to come up, no doubt. Not a lot of green grass yet, but you can see some spots where it's starting to see some green blades of grass. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this black pickup truck in front of us. It's had his hazards on, so we're just giving him some extra room. Excuse me. End up on the here relatively quickly. We'll try adjusting the boom again. See how that works. Good afternoon, guys. That's going to take us over to 494, and we'll head south on 494. We'll 212 in Eden Prairie, and then we'll continue to head west from there. But this will be good. We'll get up to speed. I want to try this out. We'll be able to test audio levels. I'll try speaking at kind of a regular tone and then speaking up a bit louder. Got the boom bent, but it doesn't want to stay in place very well. Won't be on 12 East for very long, so we're just gonna probably hang out here unless there's a pretty wide opening, then we'll maybe swing out around this guy. Give him a wide berth. So this is about 55 miles an hour. You can see the speed limit 65. We're getting passed by traffic on the left. Be curious to see how much of that noise the boom has picked up. I guess I am kind of naturally speaking up just a bit louder. This windshield, the windscreen on the front of the bike is adjustable. It's got an electric powered screw that moves that up and down. So right now the camera is sitting up, it's getting kind of the full brunt of the wind. But it should be, it creates kind of a nice window vacuum around me. A vacuum is not quite the right word because that would imply that I'm being sucked forward. And I'm really not. It's really comfortable. I don't know how that was, and we'll try speaking. Once we get on 494, there'll be a little more traffic. Up to about 72 miles an hour now. But the nice thing is my head is not getting blown around, buffeted at all with the windscreen. And I'm a short guy, so I like having the windscreen a little bit lower. Puts my line of vision about 2 inches above the windscreen, but I'm not getting hit in the helmet with the wind being thrown up over. We're just going to change lanes here. Give these guys some room. I do need this exit up on the right, so we're gonna move over. We'll move back over now. I do like the combination of hand signals and blinker. It does, I think it adds a little extra visibility and awareness for other drivers on the road. Wearing gear, the jacket has elbow pads, shoulder pads, a back pad in it. Our jeans are lined with Kevlar. Wearing my Indy Ridge riding gloves. I do kind of enjoy this half helmet, 3/4 helmet. It's substantially cooler than my full face, but I do have a very nice chewy full face as well. A large American flag up there, you can see there is a bit of a wind, so we're going to get a little bit of a headwind coming towards us as we make this on-ramp onto 494. Those of you who live in and around the Twin Cities area, you know that the road markings here are kind of interesting. So we're getting on 494 east, but we're absolutely headed south. But the 494, 694 makes a loop around the Twin Cities, and so they don't give it a cardinal direction, all 4 directions. It's just 494 east or west. Same with 694 on the north side. Alright, so how's this? We're doing about 65 miles an hour now. We're getting a little bit of a headwind. We're going to have some traffic going by us. I would say my natural voice, I'm speaking just slightly louder than natural, moving the boom back down. It just does not want to stay there, though. Try it that way. Now I'm going to try speaking just a little bit quieter. How's this audio level? Testing. Gust of wind there. Now we'll try speaking up. How's this audio level? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Is that too loud? Is that just about right? If you don't mind, if you made it this far in the video, or if you happen to just tune in now, just give me a comment. We are testing a live stream option direct from the bike. When I speak up, you get just a little bit of a dry throat. 60 today. About 66, 67 miles an hour on a three-way highway. We have to stop up on the shoulder. We're just going to give you an extra room. Again, this is all in preparation for what we're calling the inaugural Iron Arm ride. Riding from just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, followed by about 5 days of riding in and around the Gatlinburg area, and then we'll be riding back. I do expect to put on roughly 2,500 miles, give or take. So it's going to depend a little bit on the number and duration of day rides that we do in and around Gatlinburg and the Great Smoky Mountains. Beautiful area. Literally cannot pick a bad road to ride on there in terms of scenery, and if you like the twisties, it's just a matter if you want a more aggressive Tail of the Dragon style ride, or if you prefer a more leisurely parkway, Cherahalla Skyway, Blue Ridge Parkway, Foothills Parkway kind of ride. Just absolutely gorgeous. And it will be green down there for sure when we get down there. Again, I'm tying this ride into a fundraising event, both fundraising and really to help drive awareness. Pretty rare syndrome, the initials of which are NMOSD. That my nephew Andrew's been diagnosed with. So we'll have a GoFundMe site set up for this ride. We'll have some merchandise available to send out to folks today as a way to say thank you. A variety of options there. So we have some logistics to work out yet. And we're ready to confidentially gather your information. Name, address, to which we can send that merchandise should you choose to donate. We'll publish some guidelines or some recommendations in terms of what you might expect to receive. But we've got some really cool designs that my wife has worked on, highlighting kind of a history or a blend of Andrew's specific background, the fact that he's an Army veteran, firefighter, paramedic, husband and father of 2 young boys. Does pretty good overall between flare-ups, but the flare-ups are quite difficult to deal with and usually result in an extended hospital stay. Of course, during which that time he is unable to work. And so that does, as you might imagine, put quite a financial strain on him, and quite frankly, I would expect anyone that is struggling with particular syndrome. As we said before, he's seronegative, which means the medical community does have some tests they can perform for this, but he doesn't test positive, so it was a bit of an extended period of time, and a combination of, good Lord, give me some room. Back off. These are idiots on the road, man. Idiots. Can't merge and give anybody any kind of reasonable space. Gotta get right up on your tail. Just to get 2 cars ahead of me so you can take the next exit. These are the jerks that are on the road. It just drives me crazy. Well, you'll probably see some of that on the route as well, but hopefully not too much of it. But it does just point out that you've got to keep your head on a swivel at all times. just never know what's going to happen. So you end up driving for yourself and for everybody else on the road. Alright, we're going to head east now on Highway 212. The road construction season has already started in Minnesota. And so we do have, well, I'm not going to call it a detour because I don't believe there's such thing as a detour when you're on a motorcycle. Part of it is just out experiencing the countryside, and if you get some different routes than you had before, it's a great thing. So we're not going to go straight back out west on 5. We're going to head on 12. Always look, double check, triple check your blind spots. Wide wind here, a little crosswind action. Looks like somebody's turned the camera because I now see myself kind of in the picture here. Everybody, welcome back to G4Journeys. If you just tuned in, we're doing a test run on Greyce. It is Sunday, April 11th. Just under 80 degrees here. Testing out a live stream option for an upcoming spring ride. We're just about 2.5, 3 weeks away. Curious what kind of lag there is. If you can see my mouth moving versus the audio, drop me a note in the comments how this setup is working. May have to try another test with the windscreen up, but it's not recommended to move that windscreen at speed. There's just too much pressure. Too much pressure on the screw drive, and it's a recipe to strip. I'm not going to mess with it while we're at speed. Check 1. How's the audio, folks? Just 30 miles into the ride. Of course, we've been on for about 40 minutes. Maybe just a little bit longer. Battery on the phone looks like it's about 63%, and I can't check the battery on the Insta while we're in motion. You all have of the 360. Sometimes it's just nice to listen to the sound of the wind. Motorcycle, the peak wind hum, road noise, sound of the wind whipping around you. my opinion. About 1:30 in the afternoon, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Kind of a hazy blue sky, a little bit of clouds, not too bad. Not too much wind, but I am kind of excited to get back to the house and just see how this is working. Curious about the audio. Being able to test the battery life. So as I said, I'll likely run power to both the Insta and the phone. And we'll see how it works. Hopefully a few of you have left a note in the comments, your perception of the audio. You were able to control the on mobile devices and iPads and the like. You should be able to zoom in, pinch out. Be able to swipe left and right, up and down to create your own camera angle or your own view. So it really is like you're riding right along with me. As I mentioned before, and just in case there's anybody new hopping on now, we are getting ready for our spring ride. Got a small group of guys that I've ridden with for several years now. We kind of converge on different parts of the country from all over the country. And we get together and we do some riding. Really just have a great time, great camaraderie. But this year, I'm coupling that with a fundraising and awareness drive for a pretty rare syndrome that my nephew Andrew suffers from. I'd like to try to raise some awareness and maybe some money both for NMOSD Foundation and specifically for my nephew Andrew and his family. We are calling this the inaugural Iron Heart Ride. We'll be riding from just west of Minneapolis to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, doing some day rides over the span of a week, and then riding back from Gatlinburg back home. We will be setting up a GoFundMe site. We'll be sharing those details soon. Hoping that you'll take a moment to donate. We have some merchandise that we're getting put together. Really cool patches, some cool pins, a variety of t-shirt designs that are going to be really fun, I think. And we'll try to live stream if this works well. We'll try to live stream it a little bit every day while we're out on the road. You can ride along with us, check in, try to share some updates on how the fundraising activities are going. Beautiful day here in Minnesota. And then, if you've got any ideas for routes that we should look at while we're in Tennessee, or any little side trips between Minneapolis and Cookville, I'm here about some of my ham radio equipment with to do restaurants along the way. Would be those. If you're watching and you're consider to hit that bell icon so you're notified when we go live while we're out on the road. I'm also considering some kind of a I'll donate X dollars for every new subscriber during that week and a half on the trip. Thinking about that. This is a way to encourage folks to listen in and help us raise some money. If you are interested, you certainly donate by the mile, flat fee donation, one time. We'll have to look at GoFundMe. I'm not sure how long we can keep the GoFundMe up and active. But we'll be looking into all of that. We have a couple weeks left. We'll get details out. I'll be able to share more of that information leading up to and while we're on the ride. Do a couple of other volunteering activities throughout the year as well. No health or weather-related issues. And we do have some video out on the site. So that last year we volunteered for the trek across Minnesota. Took a week off, almost a week off, 3 days of work off, and rode about just under 700 miles in a week in like 10 to 12 mile stints back and forth between checkpoints. A lot of fun. This year we're actually going to be doing 2 events. We've volunteered for the MS 150, which is a weekend event. And then this year we're going to do the whole week the trek across Minnesota. So we have 2 of those events this summer. Kind of a combination of ham radio and cycling. And then in the winter we have, for the last 2 running of the John Bear Greyce Dog Sled Marathon, we volunteer. 2 years ago, we volunteered with our ham radio skills and between 300 and 350 miles, depending on the exact route. It is the longest dog there is just no whatsoever. And so race control relies on ham radio operators to call in with information about the teams as they're passing checkpoints and road crossings, conditions of the dogs. We help coordinate communications with veterinary teams, race control, and paramedics. And last year, the event, this year's event in January, it was cold. It was very, very cold. Low temps each morning was very, very cold. Low temps each morning were hovering just below 20 degrees below zero. At times, that first Sunday morning, I think it was closer to 30 below zero. That's straight here too. Very, very cold, incredibly dangerous conditions if a musher and team were to run into trouble. So it's incredibly important that we're tracking timing between checkpoints, timing between crossings. And the race officials have done a phenomenal job of gathering historical information linked to conditions. And so we all know on average kind of how long it takes or how long it should take between road crossings, between checkpoints, and so we get an early indication as to whether or not there might be a problem. We radio that all into race control. And it's a lot of fun. It's one of the most unique events I've ever been to. And if you haven't, highly recommend you check it out. We do have some videos on that on the channel as well. G4Journeys, our slogan is "The road goes on forever." I really believe that it does. And whether that's on motorcycle, snowmobile, different adventures that we take cross country, in the on the car, in the truck, trips that I've been able to do, just never ceases to amaze me. And somebody once told me, you need to live in your state like a tourist and really check out all. And there's so many people that never get out and even check out where they live. Such a shame. I've really gotten to know a lot about Minnesota as a result of our adventures, and just gets in the blood. So highly encourage you, get out. I'll say see the world, but really, just, yeah, check everything out. Should do so much to be thankful for. People have kind of forgotten that these days. Thank you, buddy. Nice one, kind of backed off to give us room, although I did have to speed up to 70 miles an hour to get in front of him. All right, folks, well, we're going to go ahead and end the live stream now, but please do tune in Saturday, May 2nd, for the Ironheart Ride kickoff. Meantime, this is G4Journeys. Ham radio call sign Alpha Foxtrot 0 Bravo Uniform. My ham radio friends and family out there will say 73. For everybody else, have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.